Chapter 15. I awoke to a strange feeling. I opened my eyes and saw Bruno at the edge of the bed, pressing his nose against my feet. When he saw I was awake, his tail started wagging, and he let out a couple of loud whines. "Bruno needs to go out," Annie said. I looked over at her. Her eyes were still closed, and her hair was a mess. She was a beautiful sight. "I'll take him," I said. "Go back to sleep." Was all I heard. I dressed and found Bruno's leash hanging on a hook in the kitchen. Near it was a container holding plastic poop bags. I grabbed a couple of bags and attached his leash to his collar. I looked through the front window and saw an orange glow on the horizon. The sun had not yet come up. As I opened the door, Bruno's tail immediately started wagging faster. He pulled me out the door and headed to the nearest bush to relieve himself. Once he was free of the burden of needing to pee, he was able to smell everything at his leisure. We walked along the side of the building while he smelled every bush and shrub along the way. We then walked toward the parking lot, where Bruno spent an equal amount of time smelling the fronts of all the cars along the sidewalk. He paid particular attention to a white Ford Explorer. He first smelled the front of the vehicle and then moved around to the front driver's side tire. After smelling every inch of the tire, he lifted his leg and peed on it. I looked around to see if anyone was looking. I saw a young couple outside, but they were looking in another direction. "Come on, Bruno," I said as I pulled his leash. He got the hint, and we quickly walked away from the scene of the crime. We came upon the young couple. Both looked to be in their early 20s. The woman had just finished hooking a baby into a car seat. "Good morning, John," the man said. "Long time no see. We were worried that you and Annie broke up." "Oh no," I said. "I was just away on business." "I see," he said. "Well, it is good to see you again." "Thank you," I said. "It's good to be back." With that, they both got in the car and drove away. I continued to walk Bruno for another 10 or 15 minutes, but he didn't need to poop, so I brought him home. When I returned, I saw Annie standing in the kitchen making coffee. She was wearing panties and the button-up shirt she had on the previous night, except this time, she was wearing no bra and only had it buttoned halfway up. I put Bruno's leash away and gave her a long, passionate kiss while I reached around and grabbed her ass. She playfully pushed me away and said, "You are quite the horn toad. Didn't you get enough last night?" "Today is a new day," I said. "Yes, it is," she said. "That means we have plenty of time for that later. Do you want some coffee?" "I'd love some," I said. She poured 2 cups of coffee and added a little cream to both cups. She put the cups on the table and motioned for me to sit down, which we both did. "This is delicious coffee," I said. "Your memory may be screwed up, but your taste buds haven't been affected," she said. "So, John was a coffee drinker too?" I asked. "You are John. You need to remember who you are. This Alex fellow, he's not you." "I have been thinking a lot about that lately," I said. "I need to have my own life. If I am John, I need to be John. Can you help me with that?" "I thought you would never ask," she said. "We can start today. I have the day off, but first, we need to get ready. You're taking me out for breakfast." We took a shower together. I washed her, and she washed me. Despite what she said earlier, we were soon going at it again. I don't know how much water we let go down the drain, and I didn't care. When we finished, we got dressed and headed out. We took Bruno with us, and Annie led us to the white Ford Explorer. She opened the back door, and Bruno jumped inside. We then both climbed inside. "So this is yours?" I asked rhetorically. "Yes," she said. "Why?" "Oh, no reason," I said. "I guess I just assumed you drove your police vehicle." "They let us bring our vehicle home, but when I am driving it, I feel like I'm on duty, even when I'm not," she said. "On my days off, I don't want that responsibility." We drove about 2 miles to a strip mall. The end unit was a local family restaurant that served breakfast and lunch. The parking lot was almost full, but someone had just pulled out of one of the front parking spaces, and Annie pulled in. She put it in park and said, "We come here a lot. It's one of the few dog-friendly restaurants in the area." The place had 4 tables on the front sidewalk. An elderly couple sat at the far left table. Bruno took an interest in their basset hound lying under the table. Annie, sensing a potential problem, directed us to the far right table. The other 2 tables were empty. It was still a bit cold outside, so it was probably not an ideal spot to have breakfast for anyone without a dog. The cold didn't bother me, which was surprising because I was born and raised in Florida. On the other hand, John was a Virginia-raised Army Ranger. Our waiter came to our table with a bowl of water he had put down for Bruno. He looked a lot like Tony Soprano. "Good morning, Annie," he said. "Hello, John. Do you want the usual this morning?" "Sure," Annie said. "Me too," I said, not knowing what to expect, but I figured if John liked it, so would I. "I think now is a good time to tell me everything," Annie said. "I especially want to know how you knew to look for me." "It was a lucky coincidence that I ran into your brother at his hotel," I said. "He was not happy with me. He thought I got cold feet and walked out on you. I wanted to tell him the truth, but couldn't think of a way to say it without making me look even worse." "The thought that you got cold feet did occur to me too," she said. "I would have been a fool to even think about doing that to you." "That thought also occurred to me. You left the army to be with me, John. You wouldn't give that up to abandon me. That's why I thought you were dead." Just then, our waiter came with our coffee. He put them on the table and said, "Your food should be out shortly." "Thank you," we said in unison before he walked away. I told Annie my story, starting with the day we met Dad in the lab. I reached the part where I met Gabriella when our food arrived. Annie got an omelet with some kind of potatoes. I got bacon, sausage, and eggs, sunny side up with toast. I don't know why, but I was expecting what I got. I broke the yolks of my eggs, picked up a piece of toast, and dipped it in the juice. I looked up and saw Annie staring at me. "What?" I asked. "Nothing. It's just that you always do that thing with your eggs and toast." "I do? That is weird. I don't remember ever doing that before." Annie just smiled. I knew she was thinking that John was still in there, and I didn't have the heart to disappoint her. On the other hand, I couldn't deny that there were plenty of differences between the new me and the old me. I changed the subject and finished my story. While I was talking, we ate our breakfast. I slipped a sausage and a piece of bacon to Bruno, who quickly gobbled them up. When I finished speaking, she shook her head and said, "That's a terrible story. I'm so sorry about your father. Where do you think that woman is now?" "Gabby? I'm sure she is looking for me. That's why I hesitate to stay with you too long. I don't want to put you in any danger." "Don't worry about me," Annie said. "I'll kick her ass if I see her." "I'd love to see that," I said, "but I don't want to sit around and wait for her. The best thing I can do right now is to get my life in order, and the best way to do that is to be John. That's why I need your help. Where do I live? Do you think we can go there next?" "Since you left the army, you have been splitting your time between your parents' house and my apartment, but most of your stuff is at their house," she said. "We were planning on buying a house together after we got married." "When is that?" I said. "June 29th, she said. "We still have a place booked." I didn't cancel it. "Don't cancel it," I blurted out, not knowing why. "I mean, I've only known you for a day, less than a day. Even so, I can't help feeling a strong connection to you. I don't know how we will feel about each other a week from now, or a month, but I would like to find out." Annie reached her hand out, put it on mine, and just smiled. Just then, the waiter came and asked if everything was okay. We told him the food was delicious, and we were ready for the check. He reached into his pocket, found our check, and put it upside down on the table. I reached for it, but Annie grabbed it first. "I'll get this," she said. "I'm sure your money is limited right now." "You've got that right," I said. "Thank you." She put down enough cash to cover the check, plus a tip, and said, "Let's go. I think it's time to meet your parents." Once we got on the road, Annie told me she had already planned to take me to see my parents today. She said she called them while I was walking Bruno. She told them I was alive. She also told them I was involved in some kind of accident that caused me to lose my memory. I agreed that telling my parents the truth would have been too much for them. It's better that their son should lose his memories than to have them replaced by someone else's. It left them with the hope that the memories might return. "You never told me how we met," I said. "We grew up together," Annie said. "You lived down the street from me. We went to school together from kindergarten until after the 5th grade. That's when your parents bought a house outside of the school district. I didn't see you again until I gave you a ticket for speeding. It was almost 3 years ago. You had recently returned from Afghanistan at the time. That was when I was a rookie, before I was in the canine division. You gave me a ticket even after knowing who I was? You were speeding. Besides, it didn't stop you from asking me out. I'm surprised you were free, I said. A girl as pretty as you should have men knocking down your door. She smiled, embarrassed, and said, You'd be surprised how many men are turned off by strong women. I don't know. I find it to be a turn-on. That is why we are together, she said. We drove about 20 minutes and came upon a nice suburban neighborhood. We passed several big houses with large, manicured yards. We pulled into the driveway of a beautiful, 2-story home with a 2-car garage attached to the side. Annie turned the engine off and said, Are you ready for this? No, I said. Let's go. This audiobook continues on the next video. For more information on this book and others by this author, please visit charleshuss.com.